I have gone through the annals of history and I've studied it thoroughly to work out if there has ever been a time where men have been hated more. Well, right now, ladies and gents, I can confirm without a doubt that it has never been more popular to hate men. It is a part of the status quo. If you want to be a famous influencer on TikTok, a famous TikToker or Instagrammer, then your personality should include somewhere in there blaming men for shit. And I don't want to start this video by saying men are innocent of everything. No, men suck. But guess what? So do women and every other gender. People are inherently shit. All right, that's the honest truth. But in today's video, we're going to take a look at how TikTok, particularly TikTok, promotes the hatred of men and how popular it is getting. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight fucking into it. By the way, if you're in America in September, I'm touring around the country. Grab some tickets right now. More shows are about to be added.
Things that I don't care about. I don't care about the male loneliness epidemic. You have got yourself there. You can get yourself out of it. And since y'all are so strong and so capable.
Who is this? Wild She. Okay, so Wild She doesn't care about the male loneliness epidemic as she takes a photo in a G-string at the front of her Instagram, which is why she has a following, because people jerk off over her. Congratulations, men, those people being men, of course. The male loneliness epidemic, if you didn't know, according to Google, it refers to the growing concern about the increased rates of loneliness amongst men, which is often linked to negative impacts on their physical and mental health, often leading to depression and the final end to depression. Yeah, it's a weird thing to claim that you don't care about that. It's a strange thing as a woman to go out there and say, listen, I don't care about men's problems, where ladies, I'm sorry, but you bitch and moan about why men should care about women's problems all the fucking time. And I absolutely agree. There are women's issues that men should be involved in. I noticed that one of the things that I'm very interested in this, in fact, is post-pregnancy for my wife. I noticed that most doctors don't even do testing when it comes to the fluctuation in women's hormones. And that's something as a man and a husband and someone who gives a shit, I think is absolutely disastrous. Also, the pill is disastrous for women's health. These are things that I care about that only really affect women. But for you to post something, for you to say, I don't give a shit about men ending their lives and you got yourself there so you can get yourself out is a real thing to do, babe. But for the purpose of context, let's continue the video. Maybe she's just being outrageous for the sake of being outrageous. Perhaps.
And since y'all are so strong and so capable and so emotionally controlled, then I'm sure you'll be fine.
Well, that was it. That's all you fucking posted. Things I don't care about, part 1. Okay, so yeah, to wrap that fucking clip up in, what was a 20-second clip? She doesn't care about men who have depression and end up ending it all. Okay, it also got 100,000 likes. 100,000 people looked at that and said, yes, I like that. Interesting. Concerning as well. Men end it all, and I'm deliberately censoring what I'm saying here. You can find the uncensored version on Patreon. Men Patreon, we know this. If 10 people decide to end it all, statistics show us that 8 of them, 7.5 to 8, will be men. Now, if that's not a concerning thing for you, then that says more about you than anything else. Because remember, the people who are suffering from the male loneliness epidemic, and do I think that's the only thing going on here? No, because there are other reasons people might be having mental health issues. To be completely open and honest, I have problems with anxiety and have done for the longest time, over 10 years now, and I'm not lonely at all. But mental health issues arise out of a lot of different circumstances. Anyway, for you to say that, I think what you're trying to say is you don't care about people who you define as toxic having problems because they got themselves there. But you must remember that these mental health problems in men don't just affect the boyfriends who cheated on you. No, they affect your dad, your granddad, your uncle, your son, your brother, your friends, everyone. So before you post something as completely fucking as that, do yourself a favor and just, I don't know, get in the fucking real world, you absolute twat. She's one of these women who claims to be a feminist, but also is living a life where she, celebrates being child-free, and she's so happy. She's 33. She doesn't have a baby. Yeah, that's beautiful, and I'm sure you're going to love getting around and rooting, which is the Australian word for fucking, all these random dudes all over the world. I'm sure that's going to be lovely, but you're going to get to a certain age where you go, fuck, probably should have had kids, eh? Probably should have had children at some point and actually, continued along the line of what people have been doing for hundreds of thousands of years, because it is genuinely our point of being here on Earth, and coincidentally one of the best things that you can do whilst you are here on this Earth, and that is to share it with your offspring. But anyway, whatever. I don't care if misandrous jokes trigger men. Misogyny literally kills women. So misandry being the opposite of misogyny. The female version of misogyny. So misandrous jokes about men, if they trigger men, upset men, offend men. Yeah, I agree. Who gives a shit? I also don't give a shit when people make anti-feminist jokes or jokes about women. Who gives a shit? They're jokes. Fucking deal with it, you pussy. But what she's saying here, this is Val Mariza, no, misandry is not nearly as bad as misogyny. Well, I think that hatred is bad, but anyway, and it is delusional to conflate the two. There's levels to things, and I think when things get really, really bad or really, really violent, and when a misogynist man decides to harm a woman, then obviously that is far worse than jokes. No one is disagreeing with that. Misandry hurts men's feelings. Misogyny has real-life consequences. I would like to just point out that a lot of men choose to end their lives, or their entire course of their life changes because of the misandry that is developed from someone who they once loved. Relationships break down, and it happens all the time. And sometimes a lot of women, scornful women, if you're a fan of Oliver Anthony, may choose the path of anger and shock and awe, and try to tear the whole the whole house down, try to take everything from the man, take his kids away, all those types of things. And in some cases, that is warranted because the dude's a piece of shit, but not every case, and probably not as much as you would think. And what I'm getting at here is, yes, violent, misogynist men exist, and the actions of those men are deplorable, and they are not good people, and no one should associate with them. If your friend is a violent misogynist, then you should not be friends with them. That is obvious. But if your friend is an angry misandrist, then you also shouldn't be friends with them. Don't be around angry, shitty people. It reflects poorly on you, and it'll only ever rub off on you.
We hate women, so we are going to oppress and objectify them.
I had to bleep all those because of YouTube, but Patreon, you know what she said.
After all of the oppression and objectification, we hate men now, so we are going to try our best to avoid them and warn other women to do the same.
I understand that you're going to be mad if something affects you, like one of your friends is hurt or harmed or, unalived, that obviously you're going to really struggle to trust men. And I get that. I understand that. And I would be as well. I would be in exactly your boat as well. But if someone who was, is it the appropriate action? I think that is the question. If it was a black man, would it also be appropriate to be scared of black people? Do you see what I'm saying? We can't just rule a whole gender of people out in the same way we can't rule a whole color of people out just because of the actions of one person. We all are individuals, and we are able to make our own decisions about what we do with our lives and how we interact with others. Some people make decisions that are very, very poor, awful, harmful, disgusting, and others make much better decisions. Be around those people, avoid the others. Simple.
Misandry isn't a thing because misandry rarely, if ever, results in violence towards men.
See, this is this same attitude that misandry never ends in violence. Well, yeah, okay, maybe I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, some women are violent in domestic relationships against men, but it's very, very rare in comparison. Or maybe it's not as rare, but it rarely has dramatic side effects on the person's life because women aren't as strong as men. That's the simple reason. But if you're a misandrist, if you're a real hateful person and you hate a certain dude, your ex-partner, and you choose to ruin his life, and then he chooses to end his life, then that has a direct trace back to your decision to be a misandrist, and therefore has violence attached to it. That makes sense to me.
What's not clicking, Stephen? What's not clicking? Misandry hurts men's feelings.
She looks like Nathan Cleary. I know a lot of you won't know who Nathan Cleary is, but that jaw, he's a footballer here in Australia. That jaw is fucking well done on your jaw there, love. Jesus Christ, you could cut cheese on that thing.
Misogyny ends up with women being unalived by men. If y'all are worried about men's issues, like men unaliving rates.
The whole unaliving thing, when people have to say that because TikTok and Instagram and YouTube will like either demonetize something or hide it, is so ridiculous. We're not all adults, obviously. Even if you're a child, like you can deal with those words. Like, why is that hidden?
Or the things that happen to men, you need to have that discussion within your group as a man, because women are not the cause of those things happening.
I don't have to have a discussion within my group. I surround myself with nice people, you fuck.
It's other men or men in general. We are misandrous.
Although, to her point, like maybe if you're at school and you're surrounded by a lot of, like you're forced to be around a lot of other dudes that maybe you wouldn't be friends with outside of school or even in a sporting club, maybe you are surrounded by some shitty blokes. I know I was when I was back playing footy back in the day, rugby league back in the day. I was surrounded by people who maybe would have gone on to do those type of things. And perhaps if I was given evidence in front of me that they were doing that at that time, I should have said something. I can't think of any examples where that happened because the evidence wasn't shown, and I don't know if they ever went on to do those things. But if given the opportunity to fucking to chip one of your mates and say, "Oi, fuckwits, what are you doing? That's not appropriate at all." And if they do it again, then you never talk to them again. Simple as that. But yeah, you should definitely speak up if you see violence.
Because we're tired of bad things happening to us. The vast majority of unaliving done to women is committed by men. 89% are by someone that the woman knows. 40% are by the woman's intimate partner. Less than 10% of male unalivings were done by women. Men are overwhelmingly responsible for violence against women and violence in general.
All awful.
That is why misandry isn't a real thing. Y'all need to look at yourselves and have...
Yes, awful. But what are you blaming here? This is the problem with what you blame. I'll tell you who is to blame. The parents of these kids. If your child ends someone's life, that is your fault. Most of the time. Obviously, people get involved in drugs and all this type of shit, but surely, vast majority of times, you have to ping some responsibility, if not all of the responsibility, onto the parents and the lessons that they were taught as kids. Surely. Now, I know I get called a misogynist and all this shit, and I do misogynistic jokes. There was one I got a lot of hate for that I did years ago, and it was about... Actually, we'll play the clip.
There's too many white guys in the comedy world, apparently. I heard that as a young comic. I thought, how am I going to do this? I wish that I had something wrong with me, like I was a woman or black. And
I'm hilarious. That clip, you know, it goes viral or whatever, gets a lot of views and people are happy, they're laughing. Obviously, I'm talking shit, but I'm also pointing out how, you know, the comedy industry and the entertainment industry works now. But people were mad at that. Like, this guy hates women. He hates women. Hates women. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? That is absolute crazy. To think that I am like that because I dare to make a joke like that, or I call out the fact that the wage gap is bullshit, or I say, and with the wage gap, there are caveats to that, of course. Pregnancy, superannuation in Australia, all these type of things. There's things to be discussed about that, but it's not just, women, I just pay them less because that's a great way to save money. No, that's illegal, dude. Everyone knows that, but you still pretend that it's a real fucking thing. Anyway, To say that I am a misogynist because of that is ridiculous. And if you believe that, then you are not coming to conclusions for yourself. You're listening to other people, and those other people are what I would like to call complete and utter.
Does this guy ever address the misandry of women toward actual boys? So glad you asked.
Who's this? Professor Neil. He's made this video at least 5 times. I'm sure I'll make it 100 more times.
Because, yes, I do. I frequently point out that what you and others call misandry is actually an effect of misogyny. Take, for instance, the requirement that many women have that the men they date have to be over 6 feet tall. That comes from patriarchy, from associating being tall with masculinity and short with being feminine.
That is correct. They are masculine and feminine.
And within patriarchy, we devalue the feminine, which is why it is undesirable for men to be short. Femininity is bad.
Or has it got to do with genetics? And what I mean by that is you see someone who is big and muscular and you're like, holy shit, he's going to protect the realm. I'm going to fucking have his children so he protects me and the realm. Is that more to do with it? Should we blame women for that? I think we should. I think they need a little bit of blame.
That's misogyny. Or take the complaint that women clearly have privilege in the workforce because all of the most dangerous, lethal jobs are largely performed by men. And that's because those fields have operated like a boys' club for so long. The only reason women aren't working in those fields...
But I also was speaking to one of my mates who works in the security field now, and he was once an infantryman in the army. And he was talking about how they go on a pack march and you have to carry all this weight on your back. There was 2 women in the platoon, I don't know, fucking to all the Defence Force people out there. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong with what I'm saying, but the group, the people, the squad, everyone had to carry 60 pounds or 30 kilos or whatever it was, maybe more than that, maybe 90 pounds. And 2 of the ladies couldn't do it, so everyone else had to shoulder the burden. And that is why some jobs are not appropriate for women. If you have to, for the job, handle a lot more weight, you're going to hire a dude because he's able to do that. Otherwise, you have to hire 2 or 3 more women to carry out that workload. Now, there are some women out there that are fucking jacked and pumping through testosterone through their body because they're, bodybuilders or whatever, and they could probably do that job, but that is not your average girl. So that is the answer to that. That is the obvious answer to that. That's the answer we all know, but you're refusing to look at it because it doesn't fit your narrative.
Is because men won't allow them to. So again, another problem created by misogyny.
Or they're not as good.
A lot of women still expect men to pay for the first date. Why? Because of the gender wage gap and the gender income gap. Men are still making more money than women. And why? Misogyny. Now, you and I might not be directly, specifically responsible for this ourselves, but what you call misandry.
Or I'm not going to list all the fucking reasons. If your mind hasn't been changed yet, it's not going to be. So I'm just going to fucking move on.
You and I might not be directly, specifically responsible for this ourselves, but what you call misandry, we have only ourselves collectively. We have only men, patriarchy, to blame.
Shut the fuck up, mate. Jesus Christ. Oh, can you stop being mean to men, please?
Nah. Fucking deserve it.
You look like you are sponsored by Lexapro. You look like if I asked ChatGPT to give me an image of someone with ADHD. You look like someone who's about to be diagnosed with autism. You look like someone who should be diagnosed possibly with Down syndrome as well. You look like Machine Gun Kelly if he started taking estrogen. Why the fuck did this come up in my Instagram feed? This was posted 137 weeks ago. Instagram has got something to, Instagram and TikTok have something to answer for. Instagram particularly. TikTok's more the newer stuff, but sometimes Instagram will throw you something from fucking years ago. What's that? Is that 3 years? Almost 3 years.
A Google Scholar search for misogyny yielded 114,000 results, whereas a search for misandry yielded only 2,340. People are not studying or really concerned about anti-male bias, especially from women.
There's actually an even better Google result that I think I didn't find until after I wrote that paper, but I Google imaged men are stronger than women, which is just empirically correct. But of the 40 first images that popped up on the screen. I think one of them was yes, confirming that. And then there were like 2 neutral, and all the rest were images of women being stronger than men. So women running faster than men, women like raising a man over her head.
The best presentation,
So
I think.
shout out to Chris Williamson on this one. His podcast is amazing. This is, and it smells like almost a concerted effort by the powers that be to push this narrative forward that we really shouldn't have anything to do with strong men or any masculine men. They're bad people to have around. And I think that is a very negative thing for our society. There is a reason that strong men have always come to the front, and that is because strong men are leaders. They look after everyone, and strong women are leaders too. And the fact that we are always still, even though people have fought for equality for so long, we still seem to be coming back just to gender consistently and constantly. But it seems to be coming from the other side now. For the longest time, it was sort of like a right-wing thing to do, to be, like, men should be doing this and men are the powerful ones and all that type of stuff. Then, the feminist movement, the first wave of it came through, and then everyone was like, yeah, women can do fucking whatever they want. How good is this? But then the third wave feminists, the fourth wave feminists, and then it all became not about women doing as well as men and everyone being equal and happy and fucking let's all get on acid and go to Woodstock. No, women are better than men. Women are stronger than men. We need more women than men in power. We need more women doing this than men. And that is where the issue lies. Equality. Right now, the left wing is not living up to that terminology or that definition. And that's a problem. We shouldn't hate anyone. Well, based on their gender and all that type of shit anyway. There's heaps of people to hate, don't get me wrong. What do you think, ladies and gents? Am I on point with these thoughts, or am I off the mark? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. And fuck men. Bye.